Greetings, everyone. I have a live stream, a live video today about lifestyle, which is the way that you live your life, and self-awareness, which is how well you understand or know yourself, how much you understand yourself. And you are a living biological being that is classified as physiological, and yet you're also emotional, and you're spiritual, and you're intuitional, and you're perceptive. Your lifestyle is the sum total of all the choices that you make and many choices that you don't make that were made for you originally. So we start off as young children, and a lot of the choices are made for us, whether or not we're going to have vaccines, what we're going to eat, if we're going to have clean water to drink, where we're going to live, how safe we are. Lots and lots of decisions are made which affect our decision making in the future, because these are forming patterns, and these end up forming loops later in our life, which we'll talk about in another video. But we'll keep loops for put to the side here. So you are basically, it's like walking up a ladder. You're building choice by choice that you make as an adult when you have the ability to make more of the choices in your life. This is a sum total or an accumulation. Let me adjust this for a moment. An adjustment and an accumulation of your life choices leading into an overall lifestyle for you. Your lifestyle is yours, and it may be very similar to other people, and it may be very different, and it's up to you to make that decision, because ultimately it is for you to bear from the decisions that you make. The self-awareness part of the video today is that your lifestyle is directly related to your self-awareness. And self-awareness, again, is understanding the self, knowing the self, self-knowledge, self-aware. That includes your personality. Self-aware is, spatially, how you're moving amongst other people in the store, and how you park your cart, and how you park your vehicle. Are you parking, way out of the lines, and who cares about everyone else, and kind of jamming through the intersection, and, you don't really care about the grades if you're in school, and you don't really, you're living your life recklessly. Sometimes we do live our lives recklessly. I have lived my life at a time in my life recklessly due to underlying trauma. And so from many, many opportunities, learning opportunities made by mistakes that we've made, it teaches us to hone our lifestyle so that our lifestyle becomes more hospitable, more friendly, more opportunistic, better choices available to us. And we become what you hear the buzzword today is, are you woke? Are you awake? Are you crystal clear? Are you clairvoyant? Are you seeing well? Are you seeing the whole picture? And we have a populace that is in varying degrees of self-awareness. Much of the self-awareness stems from your lifestyle. Not all, but much of it stems from your lifestyle. Excuse me just a moment. It's 36 degrees in Duluth, Minnesota, and it's windy. And I've got a nice warm drink here with some oat milk. So, in 1983, just a personal example for just a moment, I was in college at West Valley College in Saratoga, which is right outside of, Los Gatos, California, where I'm from, Santa Cruz area. And a classmate in my first year in college, so I know it was 1983. I thought it was 84 for many years, but I had to dig up my college records to go back to school, which I'm in now. And he said, you got to come to this class. It's called Raw Foods for Reversing Cancer. And I thought, no. my lifestyle at that point at age 22 was very similar to what my lifestyle was growing up as a child until I emancipated as an adult. And that was, meat, vegetables, dairy, cheese, the way, way, way back, the 4 food groups. But because I went to the free class and I was so turned on by what Pamela Masters, who had studied at Hippocrates Institute, had learned about the connection with food and our gut, food and our brain, food and detoxification so that we could feel more clear, that I ended up paying for in 3 payments a 9-week class, Raw Foods for Reversing Cancer. It changed my lifestyle because I began to have more clarity. I began to think, who on earth wouldn't do this? Now, if we fast forward 40 years from 1983 to 2023, this lifestyle change, not a hack, not a biohack, just a lifestyle change, a choice, luck really, ancestor guidance perhaps, if that's part of your thinking system, it is mine. But that particular choice to pay for that class when I didn't really have the money, I was really entirely on my own. I was, making a very low wage, putting myself through college only because I knew I needed a better paying job. And I was in California and I was living entirely on my own, supporting myself, paying for my own college. So taking that course changed my lifestyle, detoxified my body. What does that mean, right? It means that I had congestion in my liver because of amalgam fillings being put in my mouth. And my body had slowed down its detoxification process. It was overloaded with a mouth full of silver mercury amalgam fillings. It means that I had been eating foods from animals that had been given a glut of antibiotics, which also, I feel, overwhelmed my system, dulled me down, right? I was eating wheat, which is commercially processed, with bromide, which slows down my metabolism because it affects my thyroid. And so many of these things I didn't really realize until changing my lifestyle. It began to open my intuitive, my perceptive, my synchronistic, my symbiotic, all of the different facets of self-awareness, becoming aware of who I really was. Who am I? What am I? What is my purpose? These will become more revealed to you, believe it or not, when your gut functions better. The microbes in your gut, the bacteria in your gut are happy bacteria. We'll just, leave it at that. When they're happy and they're not congested, you're not constantly dealing with gut aches and problems and I'm sick all the time and full of mucus. And there will be years of detoxification that you will do, and you will build into a system where you naturally do what today, we never called it this, but today is called intermittent fasting. Meaning, we would never, unless you had a really, extremely physical occupation that you did every single day, which I did at one time. I was a bike messenger, and I rode my bicycle from the hills, the mountains of Los Gatos, they're the hills technically, but we call them Los Gatos Mountains, into San Jose. And I took a year off as working as a senior family law specialist paralegal. And I was a bike messenger, so it was extremely physical. And we would get up at that point and have, a nutrition bar or something like that was like just stacked. Whereas most of the time, if I didn't have that level of physical activity, I wouldn't get up and eat. With the exception of eating, high water, high fiber fruits, high enzyme fruits. So little choices, and I'm going to end the video with this. My not buying razors to shave my underarms and my legs. I don't buy hair dye to dye my hair, even if it was completely gray. I don't buy makeup. I don't buy colognes, to cover up the smell. I don't buy dryer sheets. I don't buy a dryer. I've limited and simplified my life with a clothes drying rack. Okay? I've limited and simplified my life in the past with hand washing. When you work with detoxification and lifestyle changes that optimize your health, and I am still recovering from an onslaught of great deal of stress, including the death of my child, so I'm not where I was 4 years ago, but I'm coming back physically. When you put in those efforts and you say, okay, I'm going to simplify the hair so I don't have to run and pay to go get my hair done. My hair is not manicured. This is entirely from sleeping on my hair, and it will go into sections on its own. I don't buy all the concealer and the eyeshadow and the mascara and the eyelash curlers, and I don't buy the razors. I don't buy the cologne. I don't own a dryer. I don't have to have a super fancy car. I mean, these are considerations that free you up so that you can focus on the more meaningful aspects of your lifestyle. And those more meaningful are time in nature, preparing your own food, shopping for clean food, farming, growing your own food, sprouting. All of these will benefit you. They open you to, like for example, I took personality and health psychology at a university here locally last summer, so less than a year ago. I started last May. I went back to university, and I'll graduate at the end of December with a bachelor's in psychology and a minor in neuroscience. So I took a class called personality psychology. This was lifestyle. I made a choice to take that class, and that class, whether you're pro or against academia, it's not the end all. That's the end all. But that class actually opened up a vista of knowledge that showed me the big 5 personality traits. It gave me verbiage, and it gave me an understanding of why are those people so anxious. In my mind, as I'm making observations, I'm sure you are too, why am I so anxious from time to time? Why are we so vulnerable? Why are these things happening to us? Well, the personality psychology class speaks about a category, a personality of the big 5 traits, the extroversion, introversion, right? All the way to neuroticism. And neuroticism is impulsiveness. Well, I was living with someone who was just extremely high in impulsiveness, who was helping me, an unbelievable helper, someone that I just dearly love. But the impulsiveness that some people are suffering, genuinely suffering underneath, with cigarettes and lottery tickets and alcohol, and my own child got addicted to opioids. That is another. It drives neuroticism or impulsiveness that I've got to be eating or drinking or sexing or on the phone or playing a game, or this impulsiveness takes away the beauty of what our lifestyle could provide for us. So we're not going to get lifestyle beneficial, true wisdom about lifestyle from the government. You're not going to get it most of the time from 9 out of 10 of your doctors. You're going to get it by finding it yourself. You're going to get it by trying different things and saying, wait a minute, that left me feeling worse. Part of my lifestyle is that I like to live around plants and animals, and I like to make a lot of my own food. That feels really good to me. There's a lot of high electromagnetic vibe that's very positive in my environment because of these beautiful plants. Almost all of them are plants that someone else was not going to keep in their environment, and these are living beings that I feel absolutely delighted to have, and to be able to have the honor to live with these beautiful beings, because they give me so much. And I feel very happy to provide them with clean filtered water and sunlight, and to take care of them and give them nice nurturants like the coconut coir. So that's really what I had to share today, was that our lifestyle, like, you might say, well, I'm so far off, like I'm not even close to that right now, and I'm just, maybe you've gotten yourself in a really bad situation. I have too in the past, long, long ago, and I learned from it. And I learned from probably way more mistakes than you have made. So totally true. This is legit. I have made a ton of mistakes. Mistakes that I think, well, I wish I wouldn't have made those. But there wasn't someone who was a wise elder who was by my side. We didn't have YouTube, and there wasn't anyone saying, don't do it that way, do it this way. And so I did get a lot of good advice growing up with mom and dad, and I did get a lot of good advice from friends and people in our neighborhood and things of that sort. But, you do have to go out and find the deeper level types of guidance that you want to seek. And so YouTube is really good for that, and I hope that some of these videos that I bring are going to be beneficial for you, and that they're going to help you in ways that maybe you're not going to get from the television, and you're not going to get from your doctor, and you're not going to get from the government, right? Is that just start building step by step. Just say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to put more focus on my health than what I look like. I don't look like myself. You can go back and look at my videos from 2017, 18, 2019. I didn't have a groggly voice. I didn't have a puffy face. I also, these beautiful dreadlocks that I, feel like my own special, unique tree. They began in 2019. And so I'll be 62 here in July. And this is my 4th time having dreadlocks that are completely not at all manicured. No starting them, no manicuring them, no making them perfect little sausages. You can free yourself from the bondage like I used to do at 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Probably an hour and a half a day in the mirror, the mascara perfect, and all the concealer, and the hair perfect, and the curling irons and the flat irons. And no, I don't do that anymore. And it's not just because I'm older, it's because changing my diet in that first class in 1983 opened up a new vista. I started to realize that's not what's really important. And I can go out with my own Satnam, my own true identity. All right? So I hope this is beneficial for someone. Your lifestyle will lead you to a greater self-awareness if you allow it.